to wander, and therefore they are said to be distraction. There is an interpretation that distraction has its own separate substance. When it is said that it is tripartite, these are its modes, nisyanda, just as lack of conscience, etc., is, according to Sumai. It is not categorized as the same as that, and it is called conventionally existing, according to its characteristics. The specific characteristic of distraction is precisely turbulence, because it causes dharmas born with it to wander. If it has no separate substance of its own apart from those three, craving, etc., it should not be specifically said that it obstructs samadhi. What, then, is the difference in function between agitation and distraction? The former causes a change in understanding, and the latter causes a change in the object. Even though understanding and objects do not change during an instant, change occurs during a continuity of moments. When the mind is defiled, there must be, from instant to instant, a changing understanding or object, due to the power of agitation and distraction. Or, when restrained by memory, etc., it remains fixed for a while, like a tethered donkey. Therefore, agitation and distraction are both found in all defiled minds.
What is incorrect knowing, asamprajanya? Its nature is that of mistaken understanding of the object being considered. Its activity is that of obstructing correct knowing and being an offense, aapatti, because the one with incorrect knowing offends much. There is an interpretation that incorrect knowing is categorized as a part of discernment, because it is said that it is discernment associated with the passions. According to another interpretation, incorrect knowing is categorized as part of delusion, because the Yogacarabhiimt, Sasira, speaks of it as a part of delusion. It is called incorrect knowing because it causes knowing to be incorrect. According to another interpretation, incorrect knowing is categorized as a part of both discernment and delusion, because the former two passages are ambiguous and terse in explaining, and the Yogacarabhiimi, Sastra later speaks of it as being found in all defiled minds.
The words and with, in the 30 verses, indicate that there are not just 20 secondary passions, because the Ksudravastika and other texts speak of many kinds of craving, etc., that are secondary passions. The name, secondary passions, also includes the 6 primary passions, because they are by nature the modes of prior passions. Other defiled dharmas of the same species as the passions are always called secondary passions, because they are not, technically, categorized as passions. When it is said that there are only 20 secondary passions, it means that they are not, technically, passions but are only defiled and gross. Other defiled dharmas are either states, of these 20, or their modalities and included in them. You must understand them according to reason in accordance with the difference of species.
33. Conventional and real. Among these 20 secondary passions, the small 10 and 3 of the large ones conventionally exist. Lack of conscience, shamelessness, unbelief, and indolence doubtlessly really exist, as demonstrated by teachings and reason. 3 kinds, agitation, torpor, and distraction, according to one interpretation are conventional, and according to another interpretation are real. They should be understood in accordance with previously cited reasoning and teachings. 34. Innate or resulting from discrimination. All 20 belong to both categories of innate and resulting from discrimination, because they occur due to the power of the 2 kinds of passions.
35. Interrelationship. Among these 20, the small 10 definitely do not arise together in their development, because they are mutually contradictory, due to each being sovereign in its gross and violent mode of activity. The 2 medium ones occur in all minds that are not good, and all can occur together with small or large secondary passions as fitting. The Yogacarabhiimi Sastra says that the large 8 are found in all defiled minds, and that it is possible for all to occur with developing small and medium secondary passions. In some sources, it is said that 6 are found in all defiled minds, because when torpor and agitation increase in prominence, they do not occur together. Other sources say that just 5 are found in all defiled minds, because torpor, agitation, etc., contradict only good mental activities.
36. Association with the 8 consciousnesses. Because these secondary passions are defiled only, they do not occur in the 8th consciousness. Only the large 8 occur in the seventh consciousness. The difference in accepting or rejecting which may occur with which consciousnesses should be understood according to the above reasons. It is possible for all to occur in the sixth consciousness. The 10 small ones, being gross and violent, do not exist in the first 5 consciousnesses, but it is possible for the medium and large ones to exist in the first 5 consciousnesses.
37. The 5 feelings and the secondary passions. Consequently, the medium and large secondary passions are associated with the 5 feelings. There is an interpretation that the small 10, excluding 3, such as anger, etc., are only associated with 3 feelings: joy, sorrow, and indifference. Hypocrisy, deceit, and vanity occur with 4 feelings, excluding suffering. According to another interpretation, anger, etc., are associated with 4 feelings, excluding happiness. 3. Hypocrisy, deceit, and vanity occur with all 5 feelings, because, as previously explained, the feeling of suffering exists in the manas. The association of characteristics of these secondary passions with feelings is as explained in connection with the passions. This is the true interpretation. If we proceed according to gross characteristics, anger, hostility, vexation, envy, and harmfulness occur with sorrow and indifference. Dissimulation and avarice are associated with joy and indifference. The remaining 3 increase happiness. The medium and large secondary passions are, as in the above, true interpretation in accordance with their gross characteristics.
38. Association with mental activities with specific objects. These 20 may all occur together with the 5 mental activities with specific objects because there is no contradiction among them. Even though defiled memory and defiled discernment do not occur with memory and discernment when they are a part of delusion, they can be associated. Memory also has as an object a present object of a kind that has been previously experienced, and anger also has as an object the instantaneous past. Therefore anger can be associated with memory. When defiled samadhi arises, the mind is also turbulent and distracted, therefore there is no error if distraction is associated with samadhi.
39. Association with the passions. The 2 medium and 8 large, secondary passions, occur with the 10 passions. The small ones definitely do not occur together with false views and doubt, because the former are gross and unstable, while the latter are subtle in their judgments. It is possible for the 5 dharmas of anger, etc., to occur with pride and delusion, but not with craving and ill will, because these are a part of hatred. Avarice occurs with doubt and pride, but not with craving and hatred, because it is part of craving. Vanity is associated with only delusion, it differs from pride because it is part of craving. Dissimulation and deceit occur with hypocrisy, craving, delusion, and pride, because their modes of activity are not contradictory and are parts of craving and delusion.
40. Moral nature. 7 small, and the 2 medium, secondary passions, are categorized as not good only. 3 small, and the 8 large ones also are undetermined. 41. The 3 realms. 7 small and the 2 medium, secondary passions, belong only to the realm of desire. Deceit and hypocrisy belong to the realms of desire and form, the remainder belong to all 3 realms. One born in a lower stage can generate 11 secondary passions of a higher stage, because he who is addicted to the pleasures of samadhi generates vanity, deceit, and hypocrisy with regard to others. If born in an upper stage, one generates the last 10 of a lower stage, because when occurring with wrong views and thirst, it is possible for them to be generated. There is no reason for someone born in the upper stages to generate the minor 10 of a lower stagel, because they do not nourish rebirth and do not defame the truth of cessation. The 2 medium and 8 large, secondary passions of the lower stages also take as their objects the upper stages, because they arise in association with craving, etc., with the upper as an object.
There is an interpretation that the 10 small, secondary passions of a lower stage do not have the upper stages as objects, because their modes of activity are gross and near and do not grasp the distant. According to another interpretation, envy, etc., can also take the upper stages as an object, because one can generate envy, etc., with respect to dharmas of the upper stages. The 8 large, secondary passions, along with hypocrisy and dexit, of an upper stage can have the lower as an object, because they are associated with pride, etc., which take the lower as objects, and because Brahma generates hypocrisy and deceit toward disciples of Sakyamuni. Vanity does not have the lower as an object, because they are not its support.
42. Association with categories of learners. All 20 secondary passions are included in the category of neither learner nor post-learner, because the secondary passions are defiled only, while the learners and post-learners are pure only.